Did the quarterback throw his teammates under the bus? Did the coach throw his quarterback under the bus? Just some of the fallout from Sunday's loss to the lowly Buccaneers. What on earth is going on with the Redskins? And how on earth do they fix it? DY is here. We're taking your calls as well tonight on After the Game with Darrel Young.
Live from News Channel 8, this is After the Game with Darrel Young.
Yesterday we took a major step backwards towards regression. We got to figure out a way to make sure we continue to show some improvement and put yesterday behind us and figure out ways that we can get better so we have something to feel good about as we finish the season.
That was Jay Gruden earlier today at a loss, really, at a loss following a loss that has the Redskins and their fans once again searching for answers. Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to After the Game with Darrel Young. I'm Alex Parker, Darrel Young, DY. I don't even have a question. I don't know that I even have a question. What's up?
I don't even know if I have answers for you today, but I'm still walking, so I'm all right.
Yesterday, as this is unfolding, what are you thinking?
We're just in an unfortunate situation right now. You know, we're a ball club who's struggling, trying to find an identity right now, basically trying to build a foundation. So, you know, looking at the rest of the season, I mean, we're trying to go, 6-0 for the rest of the year is how we got to look at things. You know, we got to turn things into a positive. But, on the brighter side, we did some positive things come out of the game, but there were a lot more negatives. Obviously looking at the scoreboard, and that's why we lost. So looking at that game, I mean, there's a lot of things you could look at and say we did wrong, but you have to take positives out of it. That's what I'm going to do anyway.
They're Tampa. They were 1-8. They're coming to your place. You guys had a bye week, an extra week to prepare. Did you come out flat? Was there any chance that 3-6 teams can't overlook anybody? Is there any chance you guys overlooked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I don't think you could say we overlooked the Tampa Bay team, because you look at his team's record, they're 1-8, but why are they 1-8? Well, they were struggling. They had some injuries, kind of a new scheme. Lovie Smith's scheme, it's a cover two scheme, and you have to basically understand what you're doing. That's why he has guys who've played for him in that system, like a Major Wright coming back, as opposed to a guy like Mark Barron, who's proven himself, in the Tampa Bay defense before, then got traded to St. Louis. So you have to understand what he's trying to do in his scheme, and looking at how they're 1-8. I mean, like I said, you've seen what Lovie can do, taking the Chicago team to the Super Bowl in 06 with Rex at quarterback and some other things. So just in terms of what they were doing, in terms of the game and stuff like that, they had a receiver who stepped up, they had a quarterback who stepped up, and they had a team who stepped up, and they rose to the occasion. They challenged us with some things, and they just won the game.
When fans say, how on earth can a team come out flat after a bye in their own place, what do you tell them?
It's kind of hard to come off a bye week and go into a game, just because, the speed of the game, every week is different. Playoff atmosphere is different from preseason. So, a week off, you kind of get away from the game. We talk about those things of what you do to kind of separate yourself in the bye week, and what do you do to get away from the game? Well, that's what you do. You get with your families and stuff, and you forget about the speed of the game. And, practice will never simulate how fast the game really is. And just looking at it from that standpoint, I mean, we just have to be better. And like you said, we did come out flat. We had a turnover the first play of the game. Second drive, I believe we had an interception for a touchdown, or a third, whatever it may be. We didn't have a good first quarter. We didn't have a good second quarter, third, or fourth. So, we didn't make the adjustments that we needed in terms of execution on the field as a player, to win that game going into the second half. I believe we were down 13-7 going in the half, and we didn't do anything good. So we just looking forward to this week. We got a great San Francisco team coming in who's also struggling, but we have a chance to spoil somebody's season now.
703-387-1020 is our lawn and leisure hotline. If you want to talk with DY about this, you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time, and there have been many lows. There's been the Albert Haynesworth conditioning. There's the cardiovascular. They had a bingo guy calling the plays a few years ago for Jim Zorn. This is one of those moments, DY, in Redskins history that is epically low. We will get to some calls momentarily. Aretha is in White Plains. Please stay on the line, Aretha. Quarterback, Robert Griffin III. You know how this works.
Yep.
He gets more credit probably when things go well, like the President of the United States. And he gets more blame when things don't go well, probably like the President of the United States, perhaps. He's getting a lot of blame today. By any measure, he played a pretty bad football game yesterday. Is that fair to say?
I can't sit here and judge him, because I didn't play a good game, because I didn't help Alfred get 100 yards. So who am I to judge a quarterback who hasn't, who's everyone's saying, well, no one's in our playbook. No one understands the progressions that you have to go through as a quarterback. And you look at some things, were some throws bad? Yeah, some runs were bad, some blocks were bad. The defense did some bad things, special teams did some bad things, but we lost collectively. Now, like I said, in previous shows, he's going to show the most, basically in terms of what he's doing, because he touches the ball every play. So obviously, the mistakes that he make are going to be more glamorous to the world and people who really don't understand what football really is. So I think looking at it from that aspect, I support everything he did. Hey, he's my quarterback, and that's what I'm going to war with.
Does he look like the same guy that 2 years ago was dazzling all of us?
Yeah,
does he look capable of that?
He's got braids, same knee brace, same ankle brace. He's the same guy to me. I mean, I don't see a difference. But, I mean, you see a guy who's, like you said, missed a couple of games early on in the season. You kind of lose your groove. I mean, me coming back, off hamstring injuries in the past, coming into a game, you forget how guys how hard guys hit in practice or in the games, because in practice you're not going to get that look, So looking at it from the standpoint, I mean, like I said, the game's a lot faster. Receivers don't really run as fast in practice because, you try to, manage yourself through the week to kind of prepare yourself for game day, and you don't want to, wear yourself out. But looking at it from that, I mean, balls were overthrown. Yeah, it is what it is. It happens. It's football. Blocks were missed. Kicks were missed. There was a lot of things that, added up in that game and why we lost that game.
After the game, your quarterback had his press conference like he does every Sunday at the podium. He's a wanted man in terms of the media, so he does the podium deal, and he's getting a lot of flack and got a lot of flack for this comment. I want to play it for you, DY, right now.
If you want to look at the good teams in this league, or the great quarterbacks, the Peytons, the Aaron Rodgers, those guys don't play well if their guys don't play well. They don't. We need everybody. I need every one of those guys in that locker room. And I know they're looking at me saying the same thing. I'm going to be there for them. I promise that.
Darrel, a lot of folks heard that. I was in that room when he said it, and I don't know that I cringed, but I thought that can come off as him saying, I need them to play better for me. And a lot of people, I think there were headlines literally that said, RG throws teammates under the bus. Your reaction when you hear your quarterback say that?
What was the question asked?
The question asked was, if I remember correctly, why are you such a different player now than you were 2 years ago? And can you, Robert, put a finger on why it's not working now the way it worked 2 years ago? And that wasn't the way the answer started. That's the part of the answer that's getting all of the play today and last night.
That's why, I mean, a lot of people only heard the answer that he had and don't understand what the context or the question was behind his answer. I look at it as like this. Robert, he's my quarterback. I don't care what he says. He's never going to throw us under the bus because I understand as a player what you go through on a daily basis. Understanding the pressures that you have, the reads that you have to go through, the preparation in terms of during the week. I mean, people understand that a quarterback stays in the office on a Tuesday, our day off, until 4 or 5 o'clock and going in at 8 o'clock, but on your day off. Some guys have families and stuff like that. So you have to understand that there's a lot that goes into this. Now, I know he's not going to throw anyone under the bus because I know what type of competitor he is. You heard me say it numerous times, in and out, in the locker room, out of the locker room, on the show, anytime I've done an interview. I love Robert the way he is because he's one of those guys who's going to go compete, and I think he's challenging the team. I don't think he's challenging people individually, saying that no one's stepping up to the challenge. I think he's challenging himself along with the coaching staff that kind of come together with this thing and understand that 2012 was a great run, it was historic, but what did we do to kind of put ourselves in that situation? Well, all 11 guys have to play together at the same time, and that's what I took from the situation.
Jay Gruden today was asked about the comment, and here's what he had to say this afternoon at Redskins Park.
I think one of the headlines was Robert throws team under the bus, was one of the things that I read, and Robert, whatever he said after the post game, got twisted around a little bit, and I addressed it today in a meeting room. Well, Robert needs to understand he needs to worry about himself, number one, and not everybody else. It's his job to worry about his position, his footwork, his fundamentals, his reads, his progressions, his job at the quarterback position. It's my job to worry about everybody else. And yes, everybody else needs to improve. There's no question about it. But it's not his place. His place is to talk about himself, and he knows that. That's, he just elaborated a little bit too much.
Jay Gruden today. One thing I will say for your head coach, T.Y., I don't know what he's like with you guys. I know what he's like with us. He's like
honest.
that with us. He is sometimes, I think, brutally honest.
Yeah.
And what do you make of what he just said? He didn't throw RG under the bus, but he was frank and said, listen, Robert, you do what you do. You worry about you. We'll worry about us, period. What do you make of that?
I think he was a head coach doing his job, saying that you can't blame and point fingers in the media. You have to kind of worry about yourself in a sense where you don't talk about anyone else's wrongdoings when you may have done something wrong. You have to kind of challenge yourself first before you can challenge someone else. So just understand it from that standpoint. Also, I think that he just meant for future references, don't go out there talking about anyone because, you got to go out there and play the game that, is in front of you. You can't worry about anything else or what anyone else is doing. So, like I said, I love Jay Gruden. I know what he means. It doesn't mean any harm. He's not calling the quarterback out. He's just saying that for everyone. It's not one person in the locker room that he's pointing out. It's everyone, all 53 guys, even coaches.
You know Robert a lot better than we do. But my sense from afar, and I'm out there a few days a week and I cover the games, is that he is, like most of us, a bit sensitive. How do you think he's taking this? His his head coach just stood up there for 20 minutes today, and 10 of the 20 minutes were dedicated because of the questions that were asked of Jay Gruden. He was pretty critical of RG. How do you think that sits with him?
I mean, as a competitor, it sucks because you don't want to be called out on the things that you do, but it's good for where he's going to go because he's a young guy still. I believe Robert's 23 still. He's a guy who's, played over 30 games in his career as a starter. You look at from that, I mean, every great quarterback has had a rough start to their career, just about. I mean, you look at Peyton Manning throwing 20-something picks, Eli throwing 20 picks, his first year. Looking at that, like I said, I'm not comparing them to the legends, so don't get me wrong with that. I'm just saying everyone has to start somewhere in terms of where they're going to go with the thing. And Andy Dalton was fortunate enough to make the playoffs his first year with Jay Gruden, but there's been kind of struggling, But what is he going to do to bring his team back? And they're playing well, and they're they're one of the top teams in that division. I'm just looking at it from that, but like I said, I just think, everyone's going to be sensitive because you don't want to hear about how bad you're doing, in terms of what people are thinking and stuff like that, especially when you've had all the positive, talk going around, for the past couple of years that you've been in the NFL. So for him, for Robert, like I said, if I were him, hey, just be yourself, man. Don't worry about what everyone else is thinking.
DY, we got to do a break. I will say this. Robert doesn't need me to defend him, but if he only talks about himself, then we all say he only talks about himself. And if he talks about his teammates, then he's throwing people under buses. So for Robert, you really can't win unless you win football games. 703-387-1020 is our lawn and leisure hotline. A bunch of folks want to talk to DY tonight. Callers, take note. If you get through on our lawn and leisure hotline, you can win a big green egg. 703-387-1020 is our number. Go to WJLA.com/biggreenegg for the details on that. DY and I will be back after this. Here's your injury report brought to you by the Cochran Law Firm. Quite a few, unfortunately. Chris Baker sprained his SC joint in his shoulder. Gruden says he's day-to-day. Another blow to the defense. Trent Murphy, partial tear of his PCL in his knee. Gruden says he could play, though, through that if he can deal with the sort of discomfort. Here's the biggie, DY. Trent Williams, MCL sprain as well as an ankle sprain. He's day-to-day. Lineman Sean Laval, concussion protocol. He'll be monitored throughout the week. And tight end Jordan Reed, strained with a T, his hamstring. He is also day-to-day. That is your injury report brought to you by the Cochran Law Firm. On the sidelines yesterday, our photographer got a shot of you in sort of team huddle thing. Gruden's over there, and you guys are talking. You won't remember this exact clip, but what are you guys talking about? What's going on when your team is going like this against an awful football team and the fans that are left are booing?
Just saying that, we need to step up. Our defense is doing a good job of holding them to field goals and stuff. And as an offense, we're killing the team right now. So we have to, kind of put our team in a situation just to be better, and not worry about what happened already, put it in the past. Let's just go forward with things and get better.
How much talking do you do during a game? On the sidelines, not in the game itself.
I do a lot of talking now just because, Coach Gruden is, I've been a game captain for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if I'm really am a captain, but I've been a game captain for the past couple of weeks. So, looking at it like that, I think, your captain, you have to step up to that role and kind of challenge yourself, but also, make sure the guys around you understand that you're in it too, and kind of bring everyone along with you.
Let's go to our lawn and leisure hotline. Todd is in Suitland, Maryland tonight. Hi, Todd. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. Do greatly appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
Basically, I watch Washington every once in a while. It's for the past couple of years. It's just like it's been an ongoing disease. First off, you get a quarterback. It might last a year. He goes out on an injury. Then you get another one comes in. People thinking that it will bring Washington back, and they're not all what they're cracked up to be. Now, this one gentleman that they had in there a couple of weeks ago, Colt McCoy.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. If I was the head coach, I would be putting RG3 and say, look, you're not producing. I think you need to set out. Because let me tell you something. That Colt McCoy, he put it right where it needed to be.
Okay, Todd, we got lots of folks on the hotline.
I'm quite impressed with him.
Okay, thank you, Todd. DY, you know how this works. Until Robert wins a game, and you know what's scary? And a lot of this is not his fault. He's been out with injury. Robert hasn't started and finished a game that the Redskins won since what I like to call the Darrel Young game, which was against the Chargers last year. I think it was November 3rd when you had 3 touchdowns. Can you understand the fans' frustration with Robert? It's the quarterback position, and you're not winning with him at that position, and you know how important that position is.
I do know. Like I said, games about wins and losses, so I can't even sit here and defend anything about, how people feel, and, I really don't have anything to say about it. I mean, like you said, it's been a lot of quarterback changes since I've been here, and, it's been unfortunate. Like you said, Robert hasn't won many games. I haven't won many games. I'm a starter too, so, Robert's not the only one out there not, performing to the fan standard, So I think, looking at it from that standpoint, I think he'll be better. We just got to give him time. It was his second game playing, technically a full game this season, or third, counting Houston, but since he's been back from injury. So, I really don't have anything to say about it. A
lot of folks on the outside think he must still be hurt in some way or still recovering in some way. You see him 6 days a week, if not more. Is he fine? He's
physically fine, but, in terms of mechanics and stuff, you have to get back to those basics, basic fundamental football things that you learned, going through the whole, training process, college, what you learned in terms of footwork and stuff, just to get back to where you are. And, like I said, I'm not anyone to sit here and challenge him. I think he's doing a heck of a job for this football team. Now, if we win that game yesterday, we're not talking about how bad Robert played. We're talking about, what can we do to be the great San Francisco team coming in.
Jesse is in Tacoma Park on our lawn and leisure hotline tonight. Jesse. Hi, Jesse. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
Good evening to y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Uh-oh. Jesse's fading. Jesse, you still there? Jesse's gone.
I'm here.
Okay, real quick, Jesse, what do you got? Okay, Jesse's gone. We thought he was there. It's like when you guys scored that touchdown at the end of the half yesterday. We thought he was going somewhere.
That hurt.
We thought Jesse was going somewhere.
That hurt. It did go somewhere.
And then Jesse left us, and then the Redskins' hope left us, and here we are. We got to do a break. Tanya, the Cowboys fan, is in Martinsburg. We will try to carve out some time for Tanya. We got to do a break. DY will read there was a play of the game for the Redskins yesterday, and this fellow is going to read it or talk about it. He was actually in it. When we come back, don't go away.
Here's our play of the game, brought to you by our friends at Normandy Carpet Care. Let's go back to the second quarter. Tress way back to punt, a high punt to Marcus Thigpen. And guess who is Johnny on the spot? A guy wearing number 36. Big punt muffs it, and I get the recovery. That is my play of the day, sponsored by Normandy Carpet Care.
I like that. That is my play of the day, sponsored by Normandy Carpet Care. DY, when this happens, I'm thinking, okay, it's starting to turn. The game's starting to turn. You guys are down 13-7 at some point. This is going to go the Redskins' way. And it didn't. Of all the lows you've had quite a few losses that are, this is the one. This one is the most recent, the one. Where does this fall? This is tough.
I felt pretty bad after that game yesterday. I can't say how I really felt, but I felt pretty bad yesterday. But like you say, you look at a 1-8 ball club. You're supposed to, a game that is kind of penciled in. It just goes to show that the game's played on the field. Any given Sunday, you can lose, win, draw, whatever it may be. So let's go out there and play and not worry about anything else.
Tanya, the Cowboys fan, we preface Tanya's calls with that. Tanya, the Cowboys fan, is in Martinsburg tonight. Tanya, be nice. What's up?
Hi, Alex. Hi, DY. And hi, Dante, the most beloved director on TV, my fellow Cowboys fan. Now, isn't it true, DY, the Redskins players only play for their checks? That's why they have no problem horsing around in the locker rooms after a loss. And isn't it true that the
Tanya, we'll let DY respond. We'll fade Tanya out. We can do this in North America. DY, we don't have a lot of time. You guys, I guess players were playing basketball in the locker room after
It's a locker room. It's a locker room. What do you want to do? I mean,
That's
at the
what
end of the
Jay
day,
said
you gotta have fun. I mean, we're not winning because we're not having fun. Playing basketball is something that everyone loves to do. We can shoot around. What are we supposed to do? Sit in our lockers and just stare
And
at each
cry.
other? Then
Everybody has to sit around and cry all week long.
Then we have to talk about how boring we are, well, bored we are in the locker. It's a locker room. At the end of the day, I understand you have to be serious about some things. You can't joke all the time, but it's a locker room. That's our place. 53 guys in that locker room have to stick together and not worry about the outside noise. Now, like I said, there was reports before of guys laughing after the game and all that stuff. Okay, I don't agree with that, but at the end of the day, during the practice week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's our time to kind of be who we are, and that's what we want to do. And we have to study, yeah, we have to do all those things, but what about the little bit of downtime that we do need to have, you know? And people are going to say that you don't need downtime as a football player. Well, you have to clear your mind, because when you think football, then you're going to do bad things. You know, you're going to make mistakes and stuff, because it's kind of like you're studying for a test when you kind of put too much in your mind, and then, you know, you need to take a coffee break or whatever, and then you just don't have that time because you didn't get the amount of rest that you needed to kind of prepare. So, I mean, it's a locker room. I'm going to continue to shoot around. That's what I do.
When you guys win a football game, all of this will go away. So there, Tanya. We'll be back with DY after this. Don't go away. Lost in all the Robert talk today from their head coach. He said, quote, we're going to figure this out, we're going to get better, and we're going to go beat San Francisco. And that sort of got swept under because of all the drama. Your coach essentially guaranteed victory. Go get them.
Go get them. Let's do it.
At least nobody will be picking you guys to win this week.
That's fine. When have we ever been chosen to pick besides yesterday and probably the Jacksonville game?
Best of luck, DY. Glad you made it through healthy. I'll be back at 9 o'clock with Toyota Sports Talk. We will talk some more Redskins then. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.